would say the journey, starting with the first question of being able to be vulnerable, it started for me about 8 years ago. And it started relationally. At the time I was married. And I've been living in a certain amount of doubt for a significant amount of time, but I wanted the picture to be a perfect picture. It had to look a certain way. I wanted family to be proud of me. And it was so important for me for things to look beautiful. My sister, she's one of the realest people I know. And with her realisms, we had a lot of clashing. So she would share with me one time, oh, y'all think y'all the Obamas? No. This is when Obama's in president as the first black president, and I have a certain way of being and showing up. And if it ain't clean, it ain't me. And so she would say that, I hide. I don't hide. Oh, no, not that I hide. I keep secrets. No, everything ain't for everyone, right? But with that, I had to realize there were things at which I was hiding, but more so from myself. So if I'm hiding from myself, that means I'm hiding for everybody else. And you just get a certain version of me that looks good. Going through that process, and then it started with therapy for myself. Once that became a weekly thing, man, there was so much about myself I did not know. And there's so much about myself I didn't want to know. Because once it was being unfolded and that mirror was held up to me, there was no turning back. I had to address it. And, I was bobbing and weaving for a while. It probably took a good 6 months before I can be completely honest and transparent with my therapist. Once I realized that she was someone who wasn't going to judge me and was going to equip me with the tools to show up for myself, show up for my loved ones, and all in which I came in contact with, my character started to change. The things in which I consumed became very different. My mindset, it just opened up. There was so much more I wanted to learn. I think only in the last 3 to 5 years, I'm truly understanding what it means to be a man. I just thought I was born a man. I was born a male. So therefore, at a certain age, chronologically, I became a man. Yes and no. Yes and absolutely no. And I'm still learning. I have a growth mindset right now. And you touched on something that you read, and you're trying to read how many books? 20?
12 new books a year.
12 new books a year.
And I'm projecting 24. I'm in my
That's where I got the 20-something from. All right, cool. Same here. So initially I did put a goal on it. I want to read a book a month. Because sometimes for me to read, actually, I'm a slow reader because I'm going to go back and read it again. So it was hard for me to get through a book within a certain amount of time. So I started listening to books. And a lot of times I'm on the road long enough, in 3-4 days I can get through a book. That turned into, I spend more money on books and supplements than I do anything else. I work out a lot, and I used to think these muscles, arms, my legs, chest, that brain, and it's not actually a muscle, right? It's an organ. However, it functions like a muscle because you read, you listen, you can grow your brain, right? It's exercising your brain. So it functions like a muscle in that capacity. I forgot the second part of your question. Sorry. The most important part about that for me was, and this is something I have for Steady as well, one, it really doesn't matter. I'm not doing it for anybody else. It's my work. So, and it was hard at first because I used to try to prove it to people all the time. Look at me, look, I'm better. No. One is I'm not better because I still want you to give me that check, validation, that approval. It's not even necessary. So once I hunkered down, I was just like, it doesn't really matter what you think because you're going to see as I continue to grow, as I continue to heal. And there is no one day I'm healed. No, it's a continuous process. So once that was like the main thing, and I kept the main thing, I show up as my true, authentic, wholehearted self. Now, there's still times I have to I got to check myself. All right. Sometimes it's hard for me to respond in certain situations. So I got to take a step back and then take 2 steps forward, because I am concerned about if I respond immediately, is it the right thing in the right way? Am I acting from my emotions? That's completely unhealthy, knowing that emotions are so fickle, right? And most times they're not even true. You still get to feel how you feel. But if you just ask yourself the question behind the question, it allows you to truly understand that, okay, well, I understand why I felt that way. And I get the opportunity to respond in a manner that's the healthiest for all parties, but myself first. And that's a word that I think it's healthy, but I don't even say selfish like that anymore. I say self first. Because sometimes selfish, you need to be selfish at times where it's like, hey, I put up those boundaries here. I don't have this time for this. And that, I like that. I like that as well. That works. Steady, you got something for me? Since I'm on the hot seat. Yeah, and actually that's something I had for you. I have some notes specifically for you in that way. I had to forgive myself first. I had some things centered around my dad. My dad wasn't there for me in that way at all, very abusive. And I carried that with me for so many years. For me, I led with, I'm gonna be everything that my father wasn't, right? And the problem with that, and it served me, from a scarcity mindset standpoint and from a survivor mindset, right? But where it didn't serve and how it didn't serve was I didn't invest in the time to be the man. And I didn't have healthy examples around me. Like the streets raised me. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, right? And I didn't have a central male figure that I can lean on and look at as an example and see there's some healthy things. I'm looking at dudes on the corner, right? Hustling and everything. And I have a certain hustle in me. And back in the day, hustle legitimately or illegitimately, I'm always gonna work. I'm always gonna get some money. And I'm gonna make it happen. Not if I'm gonna lead with a certain amount of, with the right character, right? So I had to take some of that pressure off myself and forgive myself for what I did not know. I did not know. When you don't know what you don't know, it's hard to find answers. And I wasn't asking the right questions. And there's a quote that one of my mentors shared with me. He says, the condition of the soil determines the productivity of the seed, right? The seed contains the whole tree. You are the seed. You contain everything you'll ever need. It's already in there. And how do you care for the seed? How do you care for the soil? Gratitude, playfulness, love, studying things that matter to you, being in community, right? You can't by yourself. You can't see. You won't grow, just if it's just you. You can't get what you don't give. So if you're not willing to give, don't expect to get anything. You cannot give what you're not willing to give. And you got to do the work. You got to do the work. Like it's important. Everyone here is a parent, a father. Yeah. One of the things for me, it's like, how do I want my kids to remember me? If today was my day, and the Lord say, your time is up, how do I want them to remember me? How do I want them to think of me? Because if my father passed today, I promise you, unfortunately, and I'm being completely honest and transparent and vulnerable, it wouldn't bother me. I wouldn't feel an emotion. it would be unfortunate, but at the same time, death is one of those things in life that's guaranteed. We know that we're going to die. I'm not afraid of it. I accept it because it's like taxes. We gotta pay it. We gotta pay it. But I've never had that relationship, and for the longest, I held on to so much of the anger of the abuse that I've witnessed, that I received, and that pain needed to be addressed, and it did not serve me. And I'm really, really big on, if it's not serving me, let it go. Let it go. And it's not without a practice. It's not something I say, oh, I'm done, I let it go. And that's more ignorant. Because as soon as something comes up, I have found myself being triggered. Because it's there. I just swept it under the rug and I found myself tripping over it because that pile under the rug became bigger and bigger. And the more that I found myself showing up for myself, I found others gravitating to me. And it's not because I'm looking for someone to gravitate to me. It's just people see it and it's like, bro, you got something on. What I got? For me, I'm very passionate about health and wellness, right? And as I continue to grow in that space, I understand that there's a lack and there's a need. And I've been approached in a very passive way to coach. And a good friend of mine told me some time ago that you're a teacher. You should be a teacher. And it's when she said it to me, the first thing that came to mind was in school. And I was like, I don't want to be in school with those little crumb snatchers. Nope, 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 nope. And it wasn't even that. And I didn't realize there were different modalities of teaching. And as I've continued to do the work and I've continued to learn and grow and heal, I understand that a lot of us, specifically men, we are lacking in that area, and nutritionally, I continue to grow there. I know what feels good in my body. I know how my body responds to certain things when I've removed certain things, when I've introduced and implemented new things. And that feels really, really good. I was telling you the other day, a couple weeks ago, we were talking, and I was like, man, I got some guys I was in the gym with some time ago, and they're around your age, a little bit younger. I run circles around them. They might lift more than me in certain areas, but you can't lift, run, and do all those things and complete them faster than me. Mind you, it's not even competitive, but when we get together and we sharpen the iron, we're going to push each other. So cardiovascularly, strength-wise, all those things have a place and a time. Like, the guy who's just a big bodybuilder, he's unable to run for a certain distance or row or bike and those things. So for me, it's a healthy balance. So creating that and finding out what that is for me, I'm finding, I'm identifying where and how I can add value in those spaces. And that's partially why I'm here this weekend as well. Just there's a part of me I know a transition is there. I feel it. I don't know where, I don't know how, but I know it's my spirit is telling me I need to be and do some other things and be in some other places. And I'm just not exactly sure where and how that is, but I know it's centered around health and wellness, mindset. So for me, that's where I'm all in that area. And I know for the most part, I don't want to be a little bit of this, a little bit of that, all of this right now. So that is the what now for me is the continued growth, continued healing, and the reinvestment of that into my community, specifically young men from a certain age, like you guys age to late teens, early 20s, because those are the times the most impressionable, like going back to what all of you kind of asked me and what we've been sharing. In this mid 40s of my life right now, I'm cleaning up a lot of what I did in my 30s. And some of them, it's nothing I can't do. I can't do anything about it. The main thing I know I can do is just show up in a greater fashion. So those who may not forgive, or situations that it's gone, it's gone for a reason. For me though, that continued journey is imperative. And with that, I am complete. Yes.